How come my family wasn't invited to the Mad Hatter's tea party? Tea is our life. Alice in Wonderland, or as it should have been titled, Alice Returns, as it's not exactly a remake, it's a sequel. So Alice in Wonderland, the 2010 live-action version, directed by Tim Burton, and is the first Disney live-action adaptation overall, the one that started it all. So Alice in Wonderland tells the story taking place years after the events of the original Alice in Wonderland, where Alice Kingsley, she's now 19 and she's grieving over her deceased father, who encouraged her to believe in her stories of her world, Wonderland. And now she and her mother are attending her wedding, where she's supposed to marry this snobbish dude who she isn't keen on whatsoever. So she runs away. Once she spots the white rabbit again, she falls down the rabbit hole and she returns to Wonderland, or Underland as they have changed the title of some reason. And our favourite characters inform her of the prophecy, the fractious day where she's supposed to slay the Jabberwocky with the Vorpal sword. I'm not pretending that Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland even comes closer to capturing the magic or spirit of the original 1951 Alice in Wonderland. Hell no. That is still the best Alice in Wonderland movie by far. And I will still never forgive Burton for ever remaking this movie later this month. I don't want to sit through that shitty Dumbo remake, but I don't have a choice. So yeah, I forgot to mention in my Maleficent review that I am reviewing the Disney live-action remakes that I have yet to review on my channel. Before I give my thoughts on Tim Burton's live-action remake of Dumbo, which I am not looking forward to. Yeah, as for his version of Alice in Wonderland, similar to Maleficent, I don't get why Disney fans disregard Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland as one of the worst Disney live-action remakes. I mean, the ones that are not afraid to be different from their source material and not rehash, they're the ones that should be receiving the praise, not the unoriginal ones. And fun fact, this was the first ever movie to gross over $1 billion not to be rated PG-13 or 12A. Let's me get to this review, which is late for a very important date. This movie's still not a masterpiece like the animated version, but it's still a Disney live-action reimagining that I don't mind. Let me explain the positives of why, to me, Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland isn't so bad of a sequel after all. While I'm pissed off with Tim Burton for ever even touching Dumbo, his style doesn't work for Dumbo whatsoever, but for Alice in Wonderland, his style worked perfectly. I loved seeing a darker, more gothic and grimmer version of Wonderland. You can tell Tim Burton spent $200 million to bring his vision of Wonderland to life. Visually, this is closer to Maleficent in terms of its costumes and CGI as the true technical marvel of Disney live-action movies. And this was the first Disney live-action adaptation to be released in 3D. My mum's friend, and my sister all saw it in 3D at the time, and the 3D took us out of this world. Yeah, Tim Burton's strong point is certainly visuals rather than storytelling. The cast, for the most part, are exactly like I imagined the live-action cast of an Alice in Wonderland movie to be, especially Johnny Depp as the Mad Hatter. I love how Johnny Depp's the Mad Hatter does that thing where he can change his voice at the Jabberwock with eyes of flame. Why is a raven like a writing desk? Yeah, although I'm not a fan of the Mad Hatter being a main character, he should just be a supporting character. But yeah, and also Helena Bonham Carter as the Red Queen, although why change her name from the Queen of Hearts to the Red Queen? Helena Bonham Carter is amazing in how she nails a character that's known for yelling, "Off with his head!" And Anne Hathaway as her sister, the White Queen, who wasn't in the original animated movie, but was a character they added in, which I was happy about as that develops the Queen of Hearts even further. Yeah, Anne Hathaway's terrific as the White Queen, as a far she's the good version of the Queen of Hearts, and it's against her vows to harm any living creature. So this war with her sister is hard for her, as she doesn't want to harm a single soul. You also have Matt Lucas as Tweedledee and Tweedledum, Barbara Windsor as the Dormouse, and Stephen Fry as the Cheshire Cat, and finally Alan Rickman as Absalom the Caterpillar. Who are you? Yeah, and I never thought Snape's voice was suit a caterpillar that well. I applaud Tim Burton for making a good adaptation of something, because often he screws up when he adaptates something that isn't his idea to begin with. But with this sequel for Alice in Wonderland, he thankfully didn't just make the same old Alice in Wonderland story all over again. He thought of a decent continuation, making Wonderland a darker and more sinister place, and including the Jabberwocky, and also including creatures from the Jabberwocky poem, the Bandersnatch and the Jubjub bird, and you also have elements like the Vorpal sword and all that. That Jabberwocky storyline that added stakes to this movie, and the second half of this movie kicks the first half in the arse, especially Alice's final battle with the Jabberwocky, when we finally get to see the Jabberwocky in all of his glory, voiced by Christopher Lee. Yeah, that awesome Jabberwocky totally lived up to the build-up. This movie does suffer from Tim Burton's common bad writing, so let's get to the negatives. Tim Burton has an issue with telling us that our protagonist is special instead of showing us in his movies, and Alice in Wonderland's no exception. He had to force that dumb prophecy into the story, which I'm sick of at this point. So, you know, Alice is supposed to be the chosen one on Fracture's Day to kick the Jabberwocky's ass, but I'm like, Burton, show us how great a character Alice is. Don't tell us. And and Mia Wasikowska as Alice, she isn't bad, but her performance for the majority of this movie has as much charisma as a zombie. She looks so bored. It's not until the final battle where she finally perks up and you begin to cheer for her. Thankfully, her performance did improve in Alice Through the Looking Glass, the one thing that movie did better than this movie, but all other aspects, this movie is the stronger film. Yeah, let's just say I didn't give a flying shit about that boring storyline where she's forced to marry. Tim Burton also has a habit of including that in his movies. He did He did the exact same storyline in Corpse Bride, where Victoria's parents forced her to marry Lord Barkis. Yeah, let's just say the first half of this movie, it was rizzled with exposition of our Wonderland characters explaining to Alice her quest and her being stubborn and refusing. This movie's such a snooze fest to start with that you just want to grab your cup of tea from the Mad Hatter's tea party and start sipping it. Just to pass the time until you get to the second half and the Mad Hatter's dancing in the finale. Oh, fractious day, Luke, allay. Pure cringe, Tim Burton. But those flaws aside, I can still happily watch this perfectly passable sequel to Alice in Wonderland for a new story in Wonderland and for a visual treat. Not bad, Tim Burton. Trust me, in comparison to some of the other Disney live-action remakes, this and Maleficent are works of art. And it's indeed superior to its boring and unnecessary 2016 sequel Through the Looking Glass. I give Alice in Wonderland 2010 3 stars out of 5. Good movie. So yeah, even if I'm not the biggest fan of the Disney live-action remakes overall, I'm still a little more generous to Alice in Wonderland. But don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, I'll get to the rants. Well, I love you guys, thank you for watching, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. And what do you think of Alice in Wonderland 2010, and which is your favourite adaptation of Alice in Wonderland? Please comment and let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. Please follow me on Twitter and on Google+, and on Instagram. And I'll see you next time when I review the 2015 live-action remake of Cinderella. And remember, movies are us. Bye, guys.